Hi guys, I'm Jay Watson. I'm a computer science teacher at Cookeville High School. I'm going to show you how to make a simple horizontal navigation. This will be very basic, pretty quick tutorial. I have the Atom text editor. You can download it for free. Once you open up a file, make sure you save it as something.html. I've just named my file navigation.html. So now what I'll do is I'll just get my baseline skeleton HTML. Type navigation in the title, and then I'll go ahead and create a nav element. Within that nav element, I'll go ahead and put an unordered list, and within that unordered list, I'll put a list item and an anchor tag. And for this anchor tag, of course, this is where the links to whatever your pages are would go. So if your home page, of course, your home page will be named index.html, so that's what will be here. And then you might have an about page that would be about.html, services.html, so on and so forth. So I'll go ahead and type home here. We'll copy this and paste and paste and paste. And so we'll say home, about, services, links, I guess. And then it's 1995. Do we still do that? With the links. Okay, so save this, Command S, Control S if you're on a computer. I'll just right click and open this in the browser. And as expected, I have just a basic unordered list, and I have some link items. And of course, when you click on them, you can see where I have the placeholder of the hashtag there. So let's go back to Atom and let's start styling this. Let's make this happen. So within the head element, I'll go ahead and put my style tags. Now, obviously, you'll be linking to an external style sheet. That's much better. But this works for now. So within my nav, I'm going to grab the UL first, and I'm going to say, let's take away all the margin and the padding that's built in, because there is margin and padding that's built in. And then I'm going to refresh, and you can see, wow, that took us all the way to the edge. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just, above this, let's go ahead and tell the nav how to look. So we'll go ahead and give it a background color of black, and we'll give it a width of 80%, and we'll set the margin to auto. And this is how it'll look right now, which is not great, right? But we have our container. Now we'll actually, here's what makes this nav work, is by default, these guys are stacked. So these little dudes display as block level elements. So we're going to change that and make that display as inline block. And what that's going to do is that's going to make them stack side by side. And you can barely see them because they're purple and pretty terrible looking. But we're going to change that. Then what we'll do is we'll change that, yeah. And so, for example, first thing I want to do is get rid of this text decoration here. And so you can click or press enter, and wow. Evidently, I'm having a slight slowdown here. Text decoration, none. I don't want it to underline. And I'll set the color to white. This is for demo purposes. And you can see now you can actually see things, right? Another thing I'd like to do is I want to set the padding around them. Now I'm going to just set the same padding all around. So that means I'll just put in one value. If I wanted to set, say for example, I wanted a top value and a right and left value, I could specify 2, or if I wanted to specify the padding all the way around, I could do that. But I'm just going to say, let's do 25 pixels all the way around. And then, it gives us the spacing. It does not give the spacing here. And the reason is because we want these anchor elements to actually take up the entire space within the list items. So we're going to display them as block level elements. And there we go. We have that spacing. So we need to take up that entire area, utilize all that padding, and because by default this would just be an inline element, right? And so we're changing that to essentially where it behaves, I guess, somewhat like a div. So another thing I want to do is go ahead and center these guys. So now we've got them centered, and I will go ahead and change the hover effect. And so, for example, I could say I want the background to be gray on hover, and I want the transition duration to be 3 seconds. Save that, refresh. You can see where that'll kind of fade in there. Nice little effect there. And that really is all that I was going to explain. I'll probably take this and expand and make it responsive, which will require a little bit of jQuery, but you'll just need to basically set a media query underneath here to check and see, hey, is the screen less than, we could say 768 or something like that. And if the screen size is being viewed on is less than that, then we might change the way this is displayed, right? And make these guys stack again. And of course, by default, at that size, it would be hidden. And then, of course, you'll use jQuery to then reach in and change that CSS. And that's a really simple, responsive menu. When you view a website on the phone and you see the 3 vertical bars or the pancake button, I like pancakes. But that's it, guys. Take care.